Everyone, Shiv here. Alright, so today we're going to take a look at the top 5 cards I was wrong about in the Grand Tournament. Now, a lot of people made a lot of calls and predictions about which cards were going to be good, which cards were going to suck, this, that, and the other. And I, much like them, did the same thing. So I'm going to go back and, correct a few errors here. Alright, starting off with Mysterious Challenger. I looked at this card and I went, yeah, but Pally Secrets suck. Lo and behold, Pally Secret decks are now dominating the shit out of the meta because nobody ever fucking expects it. Fact of the matter is, there's like 3 different viable Paladin decks right now, and trying to tech against 1 or 2 of them leaves you very vulnerable to the third, and it's just really disgusting. However, this card will inevitably lead to both Flare and Kazan Mystic becoming pretty much standard issues for certain decks. But the card, huge surprise hit. I can't tell you how many games I have locked down my opponent because of this one card. It's fucking amazing. Alright, moving on to number 2. Justicar Trueheart. Okay, so when I initially looked at Justicar Trueheart, I said, hey, yeah, that's kind of cool here and there, maybe, sure. But I really couldn't see a good deck design that could really exploit it. I mean, yeah, obviously Warrior with the massive amount of armor gain, but nobody thought that would actually be overly relevant. Unfortunately, it became very relevant. And in other cases, it became pretty damn good. And we've been seeing a lot of value coming off Justicar, so I was wrong on this card. It actually has been playing pretty decent, but will that last? That's the question. Again, it's still occupying a 6th slot, Sylvanas, Emperor Thorazan. That's already a pretty crowded slot, so yeah. Moving on to the 3rd one, Gadgetzan Jouster. I looked at this card and I went, holy shit, value. Alright. The only Joust minion I actually gave a lot of credit to, with the exception of the Elic, which the Elic's already proven its value. 1 mana for a 1/2 is not overly good when you consider there's class 1 mana drops that are better, Zombie Chow better, even Leper Gnome technically better. But because of the Joust effect, you have a chance to make it into a Zombie Chow that, well, doesn't heal your opponent. So that supposedly had a greater amount of value, right? Well, it turns out people would rather have a Zombie Chow that's always going to be a 2/3 versus something that half the time is going to be a 2/3. Can't argue that logic. And number 4, the Dreadsteed. A lot of people said, wow, this card is shit. What the fuck is this shit? And lo and behold, somebody discovered, hey, Baron Rivendare and Sacrificial Pack, YOLO fuck fun. And just started dominating the shit out of it. And because it is Death Rattle, hi, Undertaker actually came back for a quick minute. I wish I was joking on this. So yeah, the deck is extremely difficult to deal with, and because of things like Sack Pack, anti-killbots, you started seeing the unkillable Warlock. I wish I was joking, the unkillable Warlock. They would get a bunch of Dreadsteeds down, and because of Baron Rivendare, you would end up getting nothing but Dreadsteeds. You drop down fucking Mal'Ganis, YOLO, you win. Nobody ever valued this card other than a, hey, this is kind of a cool concept, but guess what? It worked. And now to the final card I was wrong about. This is another card that I thought would be really, really great. Everybody thought this card would be so fucking fantastic. I mean, I initially said there would be a few problems with the card, but I still thought it was a great card. And that's Varian wrynn. For every reason I thought that this card might cause some problems is exactly why I am completely saying that I was wrong. Not because I was wrong about why this causes problems. I'm wrong because I overvalued what it could possibly lead to. Yes, I have gotten some huge value from this card. I'm talking Sylvanas, Ysera, and Ragnaros just for playing this on turn 10. That's pretty much a GG win scenario right there. And then I've gotten other times where I've played this down, I get 2 shield blocks and a fucking shield slam. And then my opponent just goes, I'm sorry, oops, oops, oops. Yeah, so the whiff factor on this card really is pretty fucking extreme. And when you're paying fucking 10 mana, It's an all or nothing play. Alright, so yeah, it did really good in the beginning, but because it's 10 mana, getting to there became a problem because, well, aggro decks don't generally allow you to get there. So yeah, I personally think I was wrong about this card. It's still a powerful card, don't get me wrong, but in value-wise, wrynn actually takes the cake over this card, hands down. Alright, so there are my top 5 TGT mistakes that I predicted. You know, cards that I thought had a different value, or I thought were going to be bad, or I thought were going to be good, that actually turned out to be the exact opposite. Now, this is still early on. People are still discovering how to use some of these cards, so this might change. But initially, here, this is the mistakes. So, and you know, I'm calling myself out on my own mistakes, and I'm owning up to them. So anyway, what were some of the mistakes that you thought were actually going to be good, or thought that were actually going to be bad, that you actually were surprised about? Let me know down in the comment section. And as always, if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, tell somebody. Until next time, this is Shiv saying, may our Jesus bless you. Peace.